We take you live now to London, Ontario, where police are updating their investigation into this weekend's standoff that left two officers with serious injuries. Let's listen
in relation to an unresponsive male. Upon arrival, we located a male who had suffered multiple stab wounds, and he was pronounced deceased shortly thereafter. The investigation led us to believe that an armed male suspect was in one of the units of that same apartment building. A plan was developed to contain the unit and ensure the safety of residents of the building, including the evacuation of some nearby units and a shelter-in-place order for others. Throughout the course of the day, our officers negotiated with the male who had barricaded himself inside the apartment. At approximately 7:30 p.m., as our emergency response unit maintained close containment on the apartment, the suspect discharged a firearm, striking two of our officers. Both officers were taken to hospital, and at this time I can tell you that one officer has been treated for his injuries and released, while the second officer remains in hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. We will not be sharing their names or specifics of their injuries to protect their privacy and personal health information. I visited with both officers in hospital on Saturday, and I can tell you that both are in good spirits despite all they've been through. I shared well wishes with them on behalf of our entire organization and have expressed to them that I and our service are here for them and will be with them and their families throughout every step of their recovery. The victim of this homicide has been identified as Joel A. Cameron, age 41, of London, Ontario. On behalf of the London Police Service, I extend my deepest sympathy to Mr. Cameron's family and friends. The accused, Adrian Neil Campbell, 42, of London, has been charged with the following offenses: second-degree murder for the death of Joel Cameron, and 2 counts of attempted murder relating to the shooting of our officers. He has made his first court appearance and has been remanded into custody until his next appearance on March 20th. A long gun was recovered at the scene. I cannot adequately express to you what it is like to receive a call that an officer has been injured in the line of duty, much less 2 officers who very well could have been more seriously injured or killed in this incident. My first thoughts went not only to our officers and their injuries, but to their families, who I knew would be receiving the same news I was. Every day, our officers leave home not knowing what their shift will bring, but willing to put their lives on the line if that is required of them. Since January 1st of this year, we have had 8 shootings in the City of London. 8 too many situations where innocent lives were put at risk. 8 too many opportunities for serious injury or loss of life. There has been much discussion throughout the country on gun violence and criminal access to guns. My concern as acting chief of police is the impact this proliferation of guns is having on our city and our citizens. I am pleased that the accused in this situation was taken into custody and that these serious charges will be addressed in the courts. While I can appreciate the public's desire for information, there are many details that I am unable to share regarding this incident, as you know, it forms part of the ongoing investigation. What I can speak to, however, is the professionalism and expertise of our officers who ultimately took this individual into custody without further injury to officers or to the accused himself. At no time were shots fired by our officers, nor were lethal methods used to take him into custody. I am aware of a video circulating in which loud bangs can be heard, which some have mistaken for gunshots. I can confirm that was not the case. There was 1 shot fired during this occurrence, and that was by the suspect. Everyone involved in this call, from our first responding officers to our communications section operators to those who were called in from home to support this situation, worked in extremely stressful circumstances to ensure not only the safety of those involved, but to simultaneously ensure that the entire city remained protected and served throughout the course of this day. I am proud of the work our members do every single day, but their efforts, as this situation transpired, are to be commended. I'm more than happy to take any questions you may have at this time.
Just sorry, we're going to take one person at a time, and you can go first because you've started.
Yeah. Hi, Jamie with City TV. I know you expressed the officer's decision very clearly. The family is also affected too, so can you tell me how the officers are doing and how the families are doing of the officers? Sure.
I can tell you that our officers are amazingly talented and so skilled, and that even an incident like this, they have enormous composure. I spoke with their families as well. The families have a hard time understanding this. Police show up for work every day and have excellent training and capacity to manage what they manage. That's not the same for the families. The families are worried when their loved one leaves every day, every shift, their families are worried for them. And so this adds just another reality of risk and concern for the families in this case.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
One follow-up is...
One follow-up, okay, and then we're going to move on to the next one.
Yeah, thank you.
And please put your hand up if you have a question, and I'll point to you. Thanks.
Hi. Did this fall, deciphering the SIU mandate always confuses me. Did this fall within the SIU mandate in this SIU investigation?
No, it does not. When our officers discharge a firearm, that would invoke the SIU. In this case, the only shot that was fired came from the accused at the police. So that does not invoke the SIU mandate.
Okay, next.
Joe with Global Television. Was a SWAT team called and was tear gas used?
Thank you for your question. We don't have a SWAT team here. We call them the Emergency Response Unit. That would be what you would think of as our tactical team. And the tactical team uses a variety of non-lethal options to be able to handle incidents like this with armed and barricaded individuals. And the specifics of the deployment and the tactics used, I won't comment on.
Okay, next.
Isha with CBC. Many neighbors and friends of the accused told us that they made multiple calls to police over the course of the past year regarding his mental health challenges. So was the individual known to police?
I can tell you that the individual, the accused in this matter, was known to police, but the involvement was limited. The specifics of that involvement, though, and the interactions with police all form part of a constellation of facts that would be presented before the courts. So specific details I can't share with you.
Okay, Craig?
Craig Neals with Blackbird Media. Can I ask just simply yes or no, does Adrian Campbell have a criminal record?
I'm just trying to cast my mind back from all the pages I've read here. I can't state that with certainty. He has limited involvement with the police. I do believe he had a criminal record, but his involvement is limited with police.
Was he out on bail? I know that's a big conversation right now.
It's a huge conversation right now with all things bail reform. I can tell you he was not on any form of release.
Okay, Dale?
Chief, I don't know if you're aware, but while this standoff was going down, the suspect was apparently posting to social media, kind of updates the situation and making threats. It's the second time. About 2 weeks earlier, there was a standoff in Dorchester for a shooting suspect. He was posting to social media too. Is this something police monitor and people start to also comment and interact with these suspects? Would you encourage the public not to interact with people who involve in these standoffs with police? And can you just tell me a little bit of your thoughts on this phenomenon we're kind of seeing? Yeah,
that's a great question, and it poses, I can tell you, enormous risk for our officers involved. So when we get information that the individual inside, especially in circumstances with armed and barricaded information, it is essential that they do not know what the police are doing on the outside of that room. I think you can appreciate that. So we would right away assign an investigator and also monitor what the individual inside is posting. Social media is alive and well, and I think you're seeing the use of that proliferate through everything, including criminal events and then occurrences such as this. What it means, if I could speak, is not to interact with anyone, not to comment. If you're a member of the public, do not engage in any dialogue with the suspect in cases like this. This is why, and I know this frustrates the media, that our perimeter is so large. Because if you started to share what is happening on the outsides of a scene, it can impact officer safety inside. You'd be inadvertently sharing our tactics to the suspect in advance. And that, of course, creates enormous risk. So it is an interesting challenge. It's one we manage through investigative avenues and through police tactics. But thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
We've been listening to London Police update the media on their investigation into this weekend's standoff that left 2 officers with serious injuries. As a result, we're learning Adrian Neil Campbell facing 2 counts of attempted murder in the connection of the shooting of those officers. And we're also learning that the victim is Joel A. Cameron, and Adrian Neil also facing a second-degree murder charge in relation to his death.